what made you hire each of us?
All right, I'll start with last hired to first hired.
Okay.
That'd be Jenna. With Jenna, I found a questionnaire online that a radio consultant had put together on how to find people who are talented, right?
Okay.
On the radio. And to see how good she was at expressing her feelings and stuff. And I asked her to take this survey, which she did. And when I read her answers over the weekend, I'm like, wow, this is a smart girl, and it's all about how you fit into the show. And I felt like we needed, that we could use somebody that, had a really super good vocabulary and would have a different point of view. And she was kind of a rock chick, which was different than everybody else.
I remember taking that. I remember being kind of nervous because some of those questions are so hard.
Yeah. JC got hired because,
quota.
Yeah, we had to hire a Mexican. So.
He's a crazy Mexican.
Shout out, JC.
Not true at all. No, I spent some time, we
all did. We all spent time with JC.
That's not what I meant to say. I spent some time on YouTube looking at different shows and watching different people, and they had this guy that was just a part-time guy who was out doing crazy stunts on the street.
Yeah.
And we were ready to keep Big Al more in the studio. He'd kind of graduated to that, to hang out here more, and I needed somebody that could go out and do crazy things on the street because he was replacing Rich Schurtenlieb, who did a lot of that too.
Yeah.
So that's what got JC the interview. And then when JC came to town, I brought my best Mexican friend with me to hang out just to see if he was, a real Mexican.
Kelly calls him the caterer.
No, we just happened to have plans that day, and I said, hey, come join me. I'm going to interview this guy. So we went to a sushi restaurant. You remember?
Yeah.
Yeah. And we talked, and afterwards on the ride home, my friend Danny is like, I really like that kid. So that's how you got hired.
That was the first time I tried actual sushi, like the raw fish.
Really?
Because I wanted to impress you.
Wow.
Because I was scared to eat raw fish, so I was like,
Then once they
You
know.
had to do it.
And then the guy that was working, that was taking me around, was like, kid really likes sushi. And I was like, well, crap, I got to fit in. So I seriously took a bite of this sushi roll, and I was like,
you just choked it down.
That's funny.
That was kind of premeditated because another thing that was told to me in hiring people that I wanted somebody who's adventurous and willing to go out and have no fear. If that person won't try sushi, that's a pretty good indicator that they're going to be scared and not going to do the right thing on this job.
I would have never tried it.
Oh, I tried it.
Then you wouldn't get the job.
Now I love sushi.
The job that he got.
Oh, what he got.
All right. Big Al, you were driving me around. I'm like, hey, come on in.
I was a limo driver.
Give him
for
more than
several
that
years.
since you've been hating on him so much for that shirt.
Big Al would do these commercials for his limousine company on the show. They were very creative and inventive, and he just started hanging out with us up here. And
kind of grew on you.
Yeah, but the moment was when Al came up with a commercial for renting limos, where he told women, if you have a girls' night out,
Live commercial.
if you have a girls' night out and you rent the limo for 4 hours or more, you will receive a free ham.
So you let him do commercials in exchange for driving you places?
No, he
free-
paid, he
free
paid
promo?
for the
Oh,
commercials.
I was
okay.
paying for these.
So I called Al and I said, "You're really giving him a free ham?" He's like, "I'll do it on the phone." He's like,
Yeah, dog, it's great, man. Like right when they rent the limo, I'll give them a free ham.
and I'm like, "So they go to the club and somebody's got to
There's
have
a
the ham.
ham.
Who's going to eat it after 5 hours in the car? A ham."
It is a weird gift, not a bottle of champagne.
Yeah.
No, it was a holiday.
So after he just made some deal with honey baked ham. Anyway,
Yeah.
so
He had some friend of his trying to unload 50 hams or something ridiculous. It was ridiculous.
I said, if he can be consistently that unintentionally hilarious,
and random.
I'm going to hire him.
And random.
Yeah.
It worked.
And then for Kelly, we've told the story a million times, but I had no interest in interviewing Kelly.
You didn't.
I didn't. There's this.
He flat out told me after the interview, you did really great, but this other girl's been in the market longer and she's going to have the job. But I just don't want you to be discouraged. I'm
Right.
like, thanks for the free trip to Dallas. See ya.
Yeah, I had this program director who happened to be from the same part of the country, and a guy sent us a tape saying, "Listen to me, I'd love to be on a Kid Craddock show," and there was a girl in the background on the tape. And I had to call this guy and say, "Hey, this is kind of awkward, but you're great. Who's the girl in the background?" And he's like, "Oh, that's our receptionist." And I'm like, "Oh, really? Well, can I get her number?" So we got her number. It was Kelly. Sean was hugely tall, and Sean got fired that day.
oh, poor Sean.
This is when Kelly had her overalls on?
No, that's another trip at the airport.
And he had described himself to her. So when I picked up Kelly at the airport at
I said,
baggage,
how am I going to know it's you?
Yeah.
I'm big, tall.
so he got
Miss
fired.
me.
Like this program director got fired like while she was in flight. So they're like, "Kid, can you go pick her up?" I'm like, "Fine." I had already found the person I was going to hire, but
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, "Okay, I'll pick her up." So I showed up to pick her up, and I said, "Are you?" I knew you were a redhead. Had your
They
picture.
called Kelly Raspberry, please go to the nearest courtesy
Yeah,
phone. So I'm
yeah.
standing there. And this is Kelly Raspberry. Someone paged me. And this little guy walks up behind me and says, are you Kelly Raspberry? I'm like, you're short.
First thing she said,
First
to me, "You're
word.
short."
Because I thought, he was playing a trick on me. He wasn't big. He was short.
And we go to an Italian restaurant, and he's like, she goes, "I have a margarita," and the guy's like, "Well, this is an Italian restaurant."
They have a full bar. They can make me a margarita. And they did.
What was Carol's first impression?
Carol?
She
Carol
thought
got up and
she
left
thought
the
she was a-
table.
She thought she was a hillbilly.
Carol got up and left the table, went to the bar,
Yeah.
and just sat there until we were through. And the kid finally came over.
That's
and said,
because she wanted us to have some time to talk.
okay, that's what happened.
Well, of course
she
it was.
hated me. She'll admit it.
No, she didn't hate you.
She did. She'll admit we were friends now, but
Yeah.
she didn't like me at first, and I don't blame her. I mean,
Well, that's
I was
because
like, Country Bumpkin come
that's
to
because
town.
you were blowing me off to try to get to the program director who was fired.
Okay,
That's
but
why.
anyway, so we go up to the end of our discussion, and kid says, I've got to take her back to the hotel. Carol said, call her a cab.
I love that story. Right?
It's true.
Cab.
And what did we do?
true.
Did we call you a cab?
I think Carol stayed, and you drove me back
Yeah.
because we ran into some local news guy or something
Yeah.
and said, I'll just
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
He said, I'll
Stop
take
her.
her home.
Yeah.
And so
Carol, yeah, I do remember that. Carol's like, just get her a
just
cab.
get her a cab.
So that's what got her the job.
No.
No.
The girl that auditioned that morning didn't show up at all. Just didn't show up.
Well done.
She went out
And then
partied
called and
got
said,
drunk.
I'm sick.
"Oh, you're sick. What's the matter?"
I got wasted last night.
Okay, cool. You know
That's
that.
responsible.
Yeah.
So Kelly went on, and I thought that I could tell that she wasn't afraid of me, and she was going to say whatever she thought, whatever she wanted.
Called in. I'm wasted
Yeah.
from the night before
She
for your
partied
first
too
day.
hard. The
Yeah.
first
Celebrating the new job. Woo,
Yeah.
got a new job.
And then Psycho Shannon was 17 years old
Yeah.
and running around like she ran the Kiss booth at various promotions where
Gave away free pencils.
She'd spin the wheel and give away either a pencil. Most of them just said in that little slot, "Worthless crap, worthless crap."
That was my first radio
Worthless
job.
crap.
Yeah.
The
Everybody's.
magic marker with no cover,
I had
with
to-
no top.
Shannon, you have to put free tattoos on people at concerts,
Yeah.
too. Ugh.
Shannon
Yeah.
did everything. That was
It's
the
like,
hardest
okay,
working
spin the
job ever.
wheel. Let's go. All right, go. Index card. Come on. All right, fishing wire.
But she would be there all the time working hard.
So
Every
I could tell
single
she's a hard worker. And then she came in and she said she'd written a poem about Kelly. And she read it on the air, and it was very frightening and
awkward.
scary and
Oh, my gosh.
a little bit psycho.
And then she started writing more poetry and taping them on the walls and doors around the
Yeah.
office. And the sales staff was really frightened of her.
And that meant hire her for
And the
me.
last-
Shannon thinks I'm making that up, but I will never forget Sherry and all those
Yeah,
girls
all-
coming
Oh, yeah,
off and
Sherry.
like,
Yeah.
is she joking or is she really crazy?
Yeah.
I'm like, she's really crazy. And then her internship was
Psycho
up, and she
Shannon.
wouldn't leave. She just kept.
Yeah.
Remember, her internship was over, and she never
and
left.
She talked in this weird voice. She's like, I have a poem for Kelly.
she still does?
Here it is. Roses are red.
She mouthed
violets are blue. I still haven't figured out what I'm going to do with your body.
but I like
And I like
pie.
cake or pie or
Yeah.
I
something.
like pie.
Very weird. Very weird.
Oh,
Yeah.
Shannon.
And there she is.
So there you
So
have
we
it.
are highly qualified to do the jobs that you have
Yep.
chosen for us to
Yes, and I sent a shoe in. That's how I got the job. So see how it all came together.
do. There you go. Stay in school, kids.